Okay, the poem that we are going to discuss today, the first poem by Robin S Ngangom, it is Ngangom. All right. So Robin S Ngangom, Robin Singh Ngangom, Ngangom is his surname, is when you do not return. There are two particular, themes which I would like to discuss with you before we, read the poem and try to understand them. The first theme is the theme of rootedness, how rooted the Northeast poets and their poetry are to their culture, to their land, to their language, to their ethnicity, whatever makes them feel that oh, this belongs to me or this belongs to us. So that is rootedness, which you are going to see time and again in Robin S Ngangom's poetry. The other one is displacement. Rootedness, there is students who did the Northeast are familiar with these terms, rootedness and displacement. You may think that these two terms are contradictory. These two terms are dichotomous, but they aren't. They are not at all. So by displacement, we are talking about displacement of the people of the Northeast because of many factors. It can be economic, it can be violence, it can be political, it can be anything, right? So displacement and rootedness, these two themes will be there running throughout the poems, the two poems that we are going to discuss today. I could have chosen, other poems, but those difficult poems are already prescribed to BA students as well as, students of writings from the Northeast. So I have chosen relatively, easier poems for you. The first poem is When You Do Not Return. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
How,
Yes,
how,
sir.
how how is the sound quality?
You're audible.
Excellent, sir.
It's audible and good, sir.
Or is it you will not get extra marks? Okay. This is laptop sound. Okay. I don't have a boom mic. Anyway, when you leave your native hills, winter is merely a reminder of all past winters, of all the loves we lost, and there's none to care for the old and infirm. All the hospices have closed their doors. The first stanza. Let's first discuss the title. When you do not return, the term you is not a specific person. It's not referring to any person, let's say his lover or, the entire Northeast. At the same time, you can represent his lover, the youth of, the Northeast, especially those who are from the hills. You can also be students. You can also be the entire Northeast. So you doesn't specifically point towards one particular person or an object. So when you leave your native hills, winter is merely a reminder of all past winters. I was talking about displacement, how people are displacing themselves for better livelihood elsewhere, especially in metros. People are, migrating from the Northeast because resources are scanty. Life is really, really difficult in the Northeast. There is no industrial base in the Northeast. And there are, lots of political turmoils and, oh God. And ethnic rivalry and, stuff like that. You understand what is happening in Manipur and how the lives of students have been destroyed. For 2 months, students couldn't go to school, stuff like that. So since life is so unpredictable and since life is so difficult, and when people are fighting for not not rights of certain things which would sound luxurious to the people of the Northeast, like freedom of speech and other freedoms. We are only talking about right to life. If I live, I can at least provide something for my family. So we are at the fundamental level. At the fundamental level, we are fighting for right to life. So that is the displacement for you, okay? So when you leave your native hills, winter is merely a reminder of all past winters. When you are not there anymore, this is how I feel. I remember all the other winters which we spent together. Of all the loves we lost, things we could have done together, things we could have shared together. The love that you give, the love that I give to you. And there's none to care for the all and infirm. When you, the youth, the young ones, when you leave your homeland, your hills for greener pastures, there is no one else to take care of the all and infirm. They are unprotected. All the hospices have closed their doors. All the shelter homes have closed their doors. There is no one to take care of the all and the destitute. Leaves no longer respond to the alchemy of seasons. There's this beautiful expression of seasons and leaves, and that the heart lies fallow, expecting rain, water rain. So when you do not return, when you leave your native place and do not return for a long time, what happens is leaves do not respond to the alchemy of seasons. Meaning, when autumn comes, something happens to the leaves. When rainy season comes, something happens to the leaves. So leaves keep on changing. Becomes dry, it falls, it sprouts, it grows up, becomes green. So leaves do not no longer respond to the play of the seasons, and that the heart lies fallow, expecting rainwater. This is a typical Manipuri expression, and that is my heart is so dry that only rainwater, a good amount of rainwater, can quench the thirst that I have. Earth has closed like a woman when you do not return. Again, another Manipuri expression: a woman can nurture, a woman can give, a woman is a symbol of love, care, and also considered. Who is joining right now? I'm going to block everyone, okay? Where was I? Oh God.
Sir, the symbol of woman you are doing.
Oh, symbol of woman. Oh God. At the same time, a woman can also display this certain amount of, rigidness, and she wouldn't just, speak up. Perhaps some people say that, the greatest weapon of a human being, in fact, and more specifically for a woman, is the weapon called silence. You do not say anything. That perhaps is the greatest weapon one can have. So, like Earth, a woman is, equated with Earth because Earth is symbolizes, mm, foliage, uh, greenery, and also uh, a mother, because the concept comes from the sky father and the earth mother, the one who receives, meaning the one who gives, and the one who gives. The one who gives is the father, and the one who receives is the mother, and ultimately, by extension, the mother again gives back. So that is the concept we have. So, but when that giver stops giving, what would happen? Why she has stopped giving? Because you haven't returned back. And the dreams turn to rust. The flame and dew cannot create art. The flame and the dew cannot create art. Why? Why? Because the dreams have turned to rust. There is no hope at all. All the hopes have lost. Why? You haven't come back yet. And that there is no guarantee that you will come back. He is still talking about this alchemy of seasons and also the alchemy of colors. The reason why he is talking about nature and trying to mean the displacement, trying to express how displacement takes place and how he feels as a poet, is for the fact that he has seen it. He has seen, young kids living northeast, especially a place like Manipur. Stop doing it. I thought Jamatia. Why are you joining now? So basically, the earth and sky has stopped responding. That's what the poet is trying to say. Art has closed like a woman. Dreams turn to rust. Dreams are rusting. Dreams are lying just here and there, just like death and decay. And flames and the dew cannot create art. And only lust breaks on the branches of night, and men wear hideous masks. The fragrance of the wild rose is lost, and only the flowers of the market are on sale. Then, when something of this sort happens, what happens is that only lust breaks on the branches of night. He is talking about how men prey upon women, and also men wear hideous masks. Once upon a time, he's not just talking about men who would prey upon women. He is also here talking about those men with guns who would prey upon women. And what they would do, they would look for any given opportunity to do whatever they want. That's the reason why he's using this particular phrase. The fragrance of the wild rose is lost. Many women are raped. And when many women are raped, they lose their fragrance, and only the flowers of the market are on sale. He is also hinting towards those women who have been violated and how they end up becoming market flowers, meaning prostitutes. Oh, I forgot to explain this particular phrase, the flames and the dew. Flames, from the flames, you get a tar, you get the black stuff, dew, you mix it with dew and try to create an art. But since you are not there, nobody is there to collect the tar, the black stuff that comes out of the flame, mix it with water and create art. The poet loses his metaphors when you do not return, and he merely repeats himself in the dreadful arithmetic of the day. When you do not return, the poet loses his metaphor. He has nothing else to write. Everything becomes very mechanical. Everything becomes very monotonous. He merely repeats himself in the dreadful arithmetic of the day. The monotonity of the day repeats again and again. The world knew me as happy when you gave me your healing hand, and now ignores my grief because you left. This is self-explanatory. The murmuring river is hers as it loses its course in a sunless kingdom. The murmuring river which flowed nicely with lots of clamor and sound. Now it is flowing in a hush manner. It is not even producing, splashing sounds, and it loses its course in a sunless kingdom. Why the sunless kingdom? The kingdom which is covered with darkness, a place like Manipur, a kingdom like Manipur, which the light cannot penetrate through. Meaning, there is no sense at all. Sense cannot dawn upon a kingdom like Manipur. Remember, Manipur was once upon a kingdom, so he's just referring to Manipur as, not as a state, but as a kingdom. When you leave your native land, messianic young men betray principles. And when you leave your native land, there are other young men who are betraying principles. Why he is calling this young men messianic? Because they have walked on a path which is not actually the path the young man should choose. He's talking about the indoctrinated youths, which he often calls confused youths. Why they are confused? Because they haven't given this, very narrow-minded option of taking up arms and fight against the, force which is bigger and a force which they cannot defeat at all. And there is no fire in their eyes, meaning there is no, no sense of how shall I put it? No sense of what? There is no spark. There is no fire. There is no enthusiasm in them. There is not a speck of courage which will make them do something on their own, because their dreams have been obliterated. They cannot think properly. There is no, critical thinking left in their eyes and in their minds. They are just dead men walking. They are like zombies. In the streets, students shout themselves hoarse for newly arrived patriots. And in the streets, what the students end up doing, they will welcome the newly arrived patriots. Who are these newly arrived patriots? Politicians. The right and the left have become synonymous. There is no differentiation between the right and the left. Everyone has become centrist, and the citizens garland only the thieves. Thieves again refer to politicians, because we believe that politicians still in the open. The men of God merely chants the sanctimonious burlesque of prayers. Why he is talking about newly arrived patriots and the thieves? Because people of Manipur, especially in the hills, believe that the the sole reason for whatever is happening in Manipur is because of the politicians, because they never let the funds reach the common masses, the common people. And the man of God merely chants the sanctimonious burlesque of prayers. And you would find many men of God in Manipur, both sides, be it Hindus or Christians or Islam, doesn't matter. This is like they would chant this holier than thou, sort of prayers, meaning I am the best man, I am the holiest person, while the poor remain cold and naked. When when they can help the poor people, do much so do so much for the needy and the poorest of the poor, they would just give these sermons and sermons and sermons, endless sermons, and do nothing for the poor and destitute. But why he is saying this? Because he has seen the preacher being fed and warm all the time. When you do not return, dead waters breed reptiles in our minds. Gunfire reverberates in the hills. So when you do not return, what happens is those who have remained in your native land, their minds have become devil's workshop. And there is this gunfire everywhere. And the bullets sprout from windows instead of geraniums, instead of beautiful flowers, bullets would sprout. When you do not return after the bloodthirsty purges, flies swarm around limp flags. And when you do not return, when you are supposed to be there and defend your own land, defend your own kingdom, defend your own state, you are elsewhere trying to, meet your ends. And those who have remained have become limp flags, meaning flags which do not fly, meaning they have become cowards. And there are bloodthirsty purges. There are killings which take place everywhere. The barbed wire of the day encloses us as we enter the era of the assassin. And the barbed wire of the day encloses us as we enter the era of the assassin. We have become assassins. We are killing one another. And the place where we are living right now looks like a ghetto. Barbed wires all around us. We are living in an enclosure. And what we are doing, we are killing one another. In the same manner, what is happening in Manipur. When you leave your native hills, I can only speak of lost times. I can only think about, things we could have done, things we can do together. Because the time which is not there is the lost times. The time that we shall spend together, that is the lost time. And of sorrow and blood, these are the things we could have, spoken about. And I write these letters of winter asking you to return again to the hills. On gray pages, I send you happiness because it has left my home. What he's saying is, winter has left my home. Winter has left its charm. Why? Because you are not there anymore. So this is how the poem ends. Any clarification that you need, that you require? Any line? Any phrase? Anyone? Am I the only one in this Google Meet?
No, sir, we
Yes,
are here.
sir.
Everybody is there.
No, sir.
Shall we move on to the next
Yes, sir.
point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the second poem is Everywhere I Go, again by Robin S Ngangom. So he writes, everywhere I go, I carry my homeland with me. I told you two themes which you need to look out for. One is rootedness, the other one is homeland. Everywhere I go, I carry my homeland with me. I look for it in protest marches on the streets of the capital, in dark men, girls of beauty contests, forced to waiting now behind windows. So Robin says that, he carries his homeland everywhere he goes, and he sees and finds his homeland in the protest marches. And these protest marches are not like the missile that you have here in Agartala or anywhere in Tripura. They are violent ones. They are lengthy. Okay, they can bring down governments. They can bring the city to a halt, complete halt. And such protest marches can throw Manipur back, say, I don't know, 20, 15 years in the past. There is no future. In dark, I look for it in protest marches on the streets of the capital. In dark, men, girls, or beauty contests forced to waiting now behind windows. So those dark men is a term often associated with lion, the animal lion. So by extension, the poet is trying to call these girls majestic. These majestic girls, those decked up and made up girls who once participated in beauty contests, those beautiful girls, elegant, beautiful girls. Now they are forced to wait behind windows. They are taken somewhere else with the promise of better job, better life, and they end up becoming prostitutes. So now they are forced to wait behind windows for their customers. I harbor the wretchedness of those youths who do not wish to return. And he understands, as a poet, as a human being, as a well-wisher, he understands the wretchedness, the misery of those youths who do not wish to return. Why they don't want to return back? Because they would rather serve in the cities, sordid restaurants, because devils and the thieves rule their homes. By devils and the thieves, by devils, he means those who possess guns. Both sides, security forces as well as the extremists. And by thieves, he means the politicians. They don't want to come back. They would rather work really in miserable conditions. Why? Because they know that life is really difficult in a place like Manipur. Devils and thieves rule their home. I often hear about its future in conflict resolution symposiums where professors and retired generals analyze the fate of my people and their misery. This is something you might have seen. You might have come across this, phenomenon very recently, like whatever is happening in Manipur. You would find commentators from outside, retired generals, and those journalists talking about the future of Manipur. How shall we bring peace and stuff like that? And people will talk about how to bring peace. And that peace is that peace cannot come out of those seminar halls. Peace resolution should be on the ground. You should bring peace on the ground to the people. But everything is, in the confines of those seminar halls. So he often hears about its future, the land's future, in seminar halls where professors and retired generals analyze the fate of my people and their misery. Who are the persons who should be solving their own problems? They themselves. Professors and retired generals and the political class can only show them the way. But the persons who are going to keep peace is, or rather, are the communities themselves. But I can see it returning with women and water in rural evenings. This is a typical scene which you will see in Manipur, in rural Manipur, where women would come back with a bucket of water or a pot of water on their heads because there is no tap water. And I want to tell my poet friends of the 12 mothers who stripped themselves and asked soldiers to rape them. So he sees his homeland in those women returning in the evening with buckets of water or pots of water. And he tells his poet friends of the 12 mothers, he tells his poet friends, meaning the non-Manipuri poet friends, of the 12 mothers who stripped themselves and asked soldiers to rape them. If you recall, there was this very infamous picture which was taken right in front of Assam Rifles station in Kangla. Kangla is the Manipuri seat of power, where kings, successive kings ruled from that particular place. Kangla is like Lal Killa, okay, in Delhi for Manipur. So in 2004, there was this woman called Thangzam Manorama. Allegedly, she was raped, she was gang raped by the Assam Rifles station in that particular cantonment, and some 28 bullets were shot on her, genitals, on her private part. So there was this huge uproar. The state came to a halt. There were protests. Then something really, really dramatic happened. 12 mothers stripped naked in front of the Assam Rifles at Kangla with a signboard, Indian Army rape us. So it was a very dramatic, turn of events in 2004. In fact, I make imaginary journeys to its little world every day and wait for the folk of justice to lift for a murdered 8-year-old girl. Again, this is, a reference to something that happened in Manipur in 2003. The first one happened in 2004. This incident happened in 2003, where a young girl, I think she was in class 3. Yeah, she was in class 3. Her name was Lungmila Elizabeth. Her father was a cabinet minister in Manipur, and she was studying at Little Flowers in Imphal. She was kidnapped, she was allegedly raped, and she was murdered. So the poet says, his homeland in this unfortunate incidents, unfortunate happenances, the killing of a child, mothers stripping themselves, women coming back after a day's tiring work. That is Manipur for you. That's what the poet is trying to say. That is the real Manipur. Those who speak the language of progress call my homeland a mendicant state, not knowing its landlocked misery, its odd splendor, and no one knows who picks up its bodies. So those who speak the language of progress, oh, India is progressing. India is now the fifth largest economy in the world. There is development everywhere. Blah blah blah. They don't understand the misery of Manipur because number one, it is landlocked, and those states, persons from different states outside the Northeast would say, "Oh, you guys are beggars. You are living off of our, of the taxes that we pay." They would say like that. We are basically beggars. We cannot even run our governments from the taxes that we collect. Number one, there is no industry. Number two, people don't want to pay taxes here. And the life is really, really difficult. And the most important part is development is very, very slow because of the nature of the landscape. And still, there is this odd splendor that we have, the natural beauty, the spectacle. I mean, there is splendor everywhere. Why it is called odd splendor? The odd splendor is that there are dead bodies lying everywhere, and no one knows who is or who are picking up those dead bodies. I know I must stop agonizing. Perhaps I'm the only one who broods about this land. Perhaps I'm the only one who worries about this land. What would happen to this land? What is its future? How people are going to survive? How people are going to progress, make progress in life? Even if people say suffering must reach new heights for a new beginning, even if people say suffering must reach new heights for a new beginning, meaning people perhaps are looking for a civil war. You suffer so much, you are pushed to the corner, so much so that you have no other alternative to fight back but scream and run out and face your enemy without thinking about any consequence. So the situation has reached to that particular level. You suffer so much, reach new heights, so that you look out for a new beginning. But whatever I touch, my homelands, but whenever I touch my homeland streets, everyone seems happy and have no grouses. And this is also a fact. This is also a reality. People will say, "Oh, your homestead is like this and that, and there can be any bomb blast anytime. There can be shoot outs anytime in the day." But still, we will say, "Oh, nothing happens in Manipur. Everything is like so calm and peaceful." After all these protest marches, after all this fighting, after all this death, decay, rubbles everywhere, people still move on. People still try to live their own lives. Why? Because the show must go on. I must stop agonizing or save what I can, such as the tunes of my homeland, which dance in my blood. And he is finally saying that, "Oh, I have seen everything, I have done everything, I have witnessed everything. What I should do now is, I should stop agonizing. Because whatever condition my state is, my land is, that is my homeland. Because my homeland dances in my blood. In my blood, there is still Manipur. I'm still a Manipuri in my blood and flesh." Tomorrow we shall discuss Mamandai's Voice of the Mountain. Do you have any query? Arpan Devnath.
No, sir.
Excuse me, okay?
Yes, sir.
Then we shall stop here for today. There is someone banging my door.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.